Hey Falcons fans, are you starting to feel the inevitable sting of change on the horizon? Could a respected veteran, a cornerstone of our defensive line, really be on his way out of Atlanta before the trade deadline? That's the harsh reality staring us in the face with David Onyemata. Welcome back to the channel, where we dive into everything Atlanta Falcons with unfiltered passion and insight. Today, we're breaking down the mounting rumors surrounding Onyemata, a 32-year-old defensive tackle whose days with the Dirty Bird seem numbered as our defense shifts to a younger, more dynamic identity under new DC Jeff Ulbrich, with the trade deadline looming on November 4th. The speculation is at a fever pitch. Stick with me as we explore why this move feels almost certain, where Onyemata could land, and what it means for our future. Let's get into it. Let's start by setting the stage. Since the Falcons kicked off the 2025 season, it's become increasingly clear that David Onyemata's time in Atlanta is winding down. After signing a 3-year, $35 million deal in 2023, the Nigerian-born lineman became a respected leader in the locker room and a mentor to our young defensive front. But under Jeff Ulbrich's vision, the defense is transitioning to a faster, more versatile unit, and Onyemata, at 32 and carrying a $17 million cap hit, doesn't quite fit the mold anymore. A rough 2024 season didn't help his case, though he's bounced back in 2025 with solid PFF grade of 71.8 to the first month, ranking 33rd among all defensive linemen. Over 4 starts, he's notched 13 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 pressures. While those numbers aren't eye-popping, his impact in the last 3 weeks, after a shaky week 1, has reminded everyone he's still got juice left in the tank. Ironically, that resurgence has only boosted his trade value, making him a hot name as the deadline approaches. Now, let's talk about why a trade feels like the logical next step. The Falcons have invested heavily in a trio of young defensive tackles, Zach Harrison, Brandon Dorlus, and Rook Orhorhoro, who are already making waves. Orhorhoro, in particular, has been a standout in his second year, posting a league-leading 19.6% pressure rate among defensive tackles, with at least 40 pass rushes per NFL Next Gen stats. Harrison and Dorlus have also earned more snaps, cutting into Onyemata's playing time significantly. This youth movement isn't just a trend. It's a deliberate strategy to build a sustainable, long-term defense. With Grady Jarrett already gone via free agency, a move made possible by the faith in Onyemata, the Falcons now face a similar crossroads. GM Terry Fontenot and head coach Raheem Morris are known for bold deals, whether the deadline or in the offseason. With Onyemata entering the final year of his contract, trading him now could net valuable assets rather than risking losing him for nothing in free agency next year. It's a business decision, plain and simple, even if it stings to see a leader like him potentially walk. Where could Onyemata end up if a trade happens? 2 teams stand out as prime destinations: the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. A move to Buffalo would reunite him with former defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen, who coached him in both New Orleans and Atlanta. Nielsen knows how to maximize Onyemata's skill set, and the Bills could use a veteran presence on their defensive line to bolster a playoff push. Meanwhile, Baltimore presents an intriguing fit as a low-cost, short-term replacement for Nnamdi Matabike, who's expected to miss the rest of the season with a neck injury. The Ravens, perennial contenders, would value Onyemata's experience and ability to disrupt in limited snaps. Both destinations make sense, offering Onyemata a chance to contribute to a winning team while giving the Falcons a return, likely a mid to late round draft pick or a depth player. That aligns with our rebuilding focus. But let's not pretend the trade is guaranteed. There's a case for keeping Onyemata, even with the youth movement in full swing. His leadership in the locker room can't be understated. He's been instrumental in guiding the younger linemen who are now outshining him. Losing that veteran presence could impact team chemistry, especially on a defense that's still finding its identity under Ulbrich. Plus, his $17 million cap hit is a hurdle for potential suitors, though his recent play might convince a contender to take the gamble. Still, the writing seems to be on the wall. Whether it's now or in 6 months during the offseason, Onyemata's time in Atlanta feels like it's nearing an end. The bye week has only amplified the speculation, with fans and analysts alike debating whether Fontenot will pull the trigger before the deadline. Here's my take. I think a trade is the right move, and I'd push for it sooner rather than later. Onyemata has earned respect for his contributions, but Harrison, Dorless, and Orhororo are the future, and their development shouldn't be slowed by sentimentality. If we can get a draft pick or a young asset in return, especially from a team like Buffalo or Baltimore, it's a win for our long-term vision. His cap hit is steep, and clearing that space could help us address other needs, like secondary depth or offensive line reinforcements. I hate to see a leader go, but this feels like the natural progression for a team in transition. As we close this out, let's reflect on what this potential move represents. Picture Onyemata suiting up for a contender like the Ravens or Bills, making key stops in a playoff game, while the Falcons use his trade return to draft or acquire the next piece of our defensive puzzle. It's a bittersweet image, but one that signals growth for Atlanta. The question I'm leaving with you is this. Are you ready to say goodbye to Onyemata, or do you think we should hold on to his leadership for the rest of the season? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should we trade Onyemata before the deadline? And if so, where do you want to see him land? I'm curious to hear your perspective. And if this deep dive into our defensive shakeup got you thinking, hit that like button to show some love. We've got more Falcons rumors and breakdowns coming your way, so stay locked in. Until next time, let's embrace the change and rise up